Hey folks, I'm Sean C. Davis, and I have been tinkering with these two skills that I call Preflight and autopilot over the last couple of weeks, and it has completely transformed the way that I write code, the way that I build things today. And I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you about them. So they work together. And the idea kind of all revolves around the concept of orchestration and separation of concerns. And for many months now, I've found a lot of value in pitting Claude and Codex against one another. They're trained differently, and so letting one write the code and then giving that code to the other one for review has worked really well. We've found security bugs, opportunities to simplify code. It's a nice pattern. But what I had found is that I need to have hands on the keyboard to build out a lot of these features. I've not really enjoyed working with pre-built agent teams, the loops and all of that. They've worked to some extent. This is kind of my personal version of a loop, so to speak, in the sense that I do still want to be involved and I want to spend the energy and the money and the tokens and all of those things in a judicious way. So what I've decided to do is build these two skills in a way where I can be involved and in the loop only to the minimal extent that I'm comfortable with and that I think optimizes the value of token usage. And so the way that this works is that when I have an idea and something that I want this agent to build, any agent to build, I come into pre-flight mode and I say, here's what I want to build. Here's the feature that I want to build. I don't even have to explain it too much. It's just a quick little intro. The more I give it, the better, of course. But then I say, let's go into pre-flight mode. And what we do in this mode is it basically becomes this interactive planning session. It's not unlike plan mode in Claude, but it's a specific workflow where we're telling Claude what exactly to do. So it's not a fixed questionnaire, it's a conversation, and we're trying to get the intent, the scope, the plan, what it means to be done, how we're going to audit, and where we're going to actually keep this paper trail. And so what happens here is what the agent does is basically the agent at the helm that I'm working with is the most capable agent. So when I can, today I will use Fable for this. And so then Fable is my orchestrator. And the key here is that Fable or your orchestrator can be Opus in some situations for me. It never writes anything. It doesn't write code. It doesn't write content. It doesn't write anything. What it does is it delegates those tasks to sub-agents and sub-processes. And so when we're communicating back and forth, I'm communicating with Fable, which is this orchestrator. But then when it needs to learn something about the code, it then goes and it passes a specific task off to a sub-agent that is a less capable sub-agent. And so then that agent goes in and it finds, it does all of the research and it reports back to Fable. And Fable can always come back to it and say, I'm not so sure about this, or, check this, or check this, check this, whatever that might be. So then Fable has the research and it hands that research, turns the research into questions so that it can achieve the goals that it needs to achieve to be done with pre-flight. And being done with pre-flight means having a plan. So again, not terribly unlike plan mode, just a very specific version of it. And then it is instructed, I think at the end here, to go into autopilot mode, starting on autopilot, right? And this is what it's going to suggest. And that's when it kicks it over to autopilot. And autopilot is prefaced with this idea that I am, as the user and the human in front of the computer with my hands on the keyboard, am going to walk away while all this work happens. And what I've noticed over the last couple of days is that when the agent is in pre-flight mode and its desire is to go into autopilot, but it needs to be successful. And so it checks itself and often will say, hey, this is not a candidate for autopilot for A, B, and C reason. And I can overrule it and tell it to think about it a little bit differently or whatever that may be. But in any case, we go to autopilot, and the context here is that I'm going to walk away. So you have to figure out how to take what was defined as the artifact from pre-flight all the way to the point where you are handing me something that I can test end to end. And to do that, we take that same sort of approach. So Fable or Opus, whatever it may be, the most capable model that we've given this task to becomes the orchestrator. And the models that are going to write the code are the less capable ones. So in most cases, it's going to be Sonnet that is going to write most of the code. And then when that code's done, it comes back to the orchestrator. Let's call it Fable. And then we bring in Codex. There's a Codex plugin for Claude Code. We bring in Codex and we tell Codex to QA that work. And then we go through some QA cycles. And most of the time, almost every time, Fable can then take the feedback from Codex, give it back to Sonnet, fix it, and then we go through the pull review or the pull request process. We get the deploy preview. We can check the work. It gets handed over to me. That's where I can run the thing end to end. And now I'm still tinkering with it. It still needs some love, but I will tell you, this has totally changed the way that I work, because I can have a conversation that is very focused, and then I can literally walk away once we're in autopilot mode, and I can come back ready to review something. And it's just it's so refreshing compared to saying yes, approve, and having these agents write all of these ridiculously complex commands for really simple, often read-only type of tasks. And I'm taking this concept and actually looking to convert it into a specific type of harness, because I think that this workflow is really powerful. And if I can get a little bit more control over it, I feel like I can work even faster. But I wanted to share that with you all. All of my skills are available in the public. They're open source at SeanCDavis/agent skills on GitHub. Take them, use them, tinker with them, change them, open a pull request to update these official ones. Do whatever you feel like you need to do. Play with them and start, build more. I want to hear from you. I'd love to see how you use these things. That's it for now. I'm Sean C. Davis. See you next time.